Good morning, everyone. It's Alissa Coram and Ken Shreve here with your market update live from our newsroom in Los Angeles on this Thursday. And on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at stocks moving on earnings, including ServiceNow, Facebook, and Visa, and a couple more. But first, let's pivot our attention to the major indexes. We are mixed. The Nasdaq leading the gains, up about 1.1%. The S&P 500 also up about 0.6%. We do have the Dow lagging a little bit, but off session lows, down about 0.2% right now. So for the Nasdaq and tech stocks, a really bullish session yesterday and extending gains today.
Yeah, so Facebook, a big early mover, helping the Nasdaq to a gain of 1%. So this market uptrend continues to look pretty good. Here's a look at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. You can see just moving further away from its 50-day moving average. That 200-day moving average, just under 7,500, is a potential resistance level to watch. But buyers certainly in control of the early going. And you mentioned the Dow lagging a little bit. We got some weakness in DowDuPont, Visa, and Microsoft, kind of weighing on the blue chip index. But solid start for the Nasdaq, no doubt.
That's right. Well, ServiceNow moving big on its quarterly earnings report, up some 15.3% in heavy volume. A big breakout here for the enterprise software firm. A strong earnings and sales growth, and we also have subscription billings jumping 38%. So now that we have a software as a service company, subscriptions, that's a key number to watch.
Yeah, so cloud-based software, workflow automation software, that's what ServiceNow does. For several weeks we've been talking about strength in the enterprise software names. A lot of them are moving higher today, mostly because of the strong earnings report from ServiceNow. So just another really compelling growth story in the enterprise software space. And you can see a bullish gap up out of a long consolidation here. When a stock gaps up like this, buying as close to the open price is, sometimes can be good strategy. So while it looks like it might be well extended from a buy point, you look at that relative strength line that is shooting into new high ground, and very bullish day so far for ServiceNow.
Yeah, very bullish breakout here. And then also, if we could take a quick look at pure Workday as well, just an example of stocks moving in tandem with ServiceNow on this report, also breaking out slightly extended now from an entry point.
Yeah, Workday had been trading near a 172.67 buy point, and Ross pulled up the chart here. So you can see it was pretty close to that 172.77 buy point, a gap up. No earnings from Workday. They're not going to be reporting for a little while, but again, a lot of enterprise software is driving the Nasdaq higher, so nice gap up for Workday as well.
Yeah, which shows you why it's important to be looking at stocks that come from top groups, because groups tend to move together, and this proves that.
It's a big group in our database, the enterprise software makers, and there's just not 1, 2, 3, or 4 leaders. There is widespread leadership in that group. So besides ServiceNow and Workday, a lot of other stocks acting well in the group today. So we'll have a lot of coverage of that at investors.com today.
Yeah, it's definitely a space where we've been watching very closely and will continue to track for everyone. And Facebook shares up 13%, retaking its 200-day line after the quarterly earnings report. We have earnings up 8%, sales up 30%, and daily active users also up 9% from last year, but Facebook has suffered a lot of technical damage over the last 6 months or so.
Well, there's no question. I mean, Facebook and just about all of the FANG stocks have been hit hard in recent months, but I mean, you cannot underestimate the bullish move today for Facebook. I mean, this is not only a gap up in price, but a gap up over the 200-day moving average. It's still far off highs. The market was looking for some stability in daily, active users, monthly active users, and both of those metrics were up about 9%. I think revenues up about 30%. 30%. So I think the market is saying, maybe the worst is behind this company, but big buyers definitely in the stock today.
Well, we'll have to see. For those CAN Slim traders, clearly we would want to see Facebook now consolidate a little bit, start moving higher.
Exactly. So positive action from here would be to see the stock just hold above that 200-day moving average, maybe build a new home above 170, something like that. But it's kind of a tricky buy down here. You know, one solid quarter does not make a compelling, necessarily make a compelling fundamental story. The company is still challenged, but the results were pretty good, and the stock is benefiting.
That's right. Well, you mentioned a weakness in Visa today. That stock down about 1.9%. Despite better than expected earnings and sales, but the payments volume and processed transactions were a little bit below expectations here. And even though it's been building a couple of bases, it's, they've been declining and a little sloppy.
Yeah, I mean, this was not a great looking consolidation for Visa ahead of the report. You can see the relative strength line really in a sharp downtrend for several weeks. So there was a buy point in the chart just below, or right around that 140 area, but you can see how 140 was clearly resistance over the past few weeks. So Visa weighing on the Dow today. Not a terrible report, but again, the payments volume, process transactions a little bit light. But we did want to take a look at Mastercard because they also reported earnings, and that's a kind of a different technical picture.
Yeah, exactly. Mastercard breaking out after its earnings report, relative strength line hitting a new high, even though shares are still trading below all-time highs, and this is coming amid accelerating earnings growth.
Yeah, so two completely different charts here. You got Visa not looking all that hot, and Mastercard breaking out over a 210.01 buy point. This one still looks to be in buy range. We would just call this a classic double bottom pattern. Definitely some erratic price swings, but you can see the MarketSmith chart here tracing that W pattern where the second leg down undercuts the first, and really solid breakout here. This one still looks to be in buy range thanks to strong earnings.
Yeah, and definitely a tale of two relative strength lines, even before today for these two peers.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mastercard, yes. Visa, not so much.
All right. Well, hey, we covered a lot of ground today.
A lot happening
short
today.
Time.
I know. Thursdays are always busy with earnings.
Yes.
Amazon after the close today, so.
Yeah, a lot of key reports to continue to watch, as well as the price action throughout the day today. So make sure you're heading to investors.com, where we had the latest stock analysis and earnings news for you there, both during the session and after the close. Another key day to stay tuned in.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. You can also check out our content across social media, from YouTube to Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter. So make sure you're following and subscribing for the latest. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.